Okay, let's get started. Hi, I'm Bill. It's June 2nd, 2025. Got back yesterday from a 12-day trip in our camper van. The goal was to look for an opportunity to capture a panorama of the Milky Way, but we also were just going to do some general sightseeing, Bryce Canyon, Monument Valley, Green River, and so long story short, the clouds did not allow the opportunity for me to capture a panorama of the Milky Way, but I did get to work further with my Fuji X-H2S and primarily my Rokinon 12mm f2.0 manual lens. And so it let me further get familiar with the camera and manually focusing a lens. I got a little bit of practice focusing on some stars at night, even though it was very cloudy, and those type of things. But I was able to capture 2 daytime panoramas using my Fuji and the Rokinon, plus my Benro tripod and the Nodal Ninja rig that I have sitting on top of it. I'll put a couple of stills in so you can see it. And the best part about that rig is it has an easy leveler because where I was shooting these panoramas at Monument Valley, it was very uneven surface and I didn't have to mess around with adjusting the legs to any great extent. I could just use the easy leveler, and it was really great. So what I'd like to do is step through the 2 panoramas, and then I'm going to show you some short video clips, but let's get into the panorama. So what you see here is Lightroom, and in this first panorama I took 8 vertical images with the angle of view of this lens, Rokinon lens, in the vertical orientation. I was moving about 30 degrees rotation per slide. So let's take a look at the first of 8 here. So here is, and again I was starting from going from my right to my left, trying to follow the movement of the clouds, the direction that the clouds were moving in. So this is the 1, here's number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and when I stitched them all together in Lightroom, this was the end product, or the end result. And so I had this panorama here. Now what I'm very pleased with this panorama. Again, I'm new to this. I've taken a couple down in Half Moon Bay at the harbor, but this is really my first landscape type panorama in a sense. And while the while the clouds prevented me from imaging the Milky Way at night, they added a lot of visual interest, if you ask me, into the panorama. If this was just clear blue sky, I'm not sure I would like this panorama as much. Now, other things I like about the panorama is my wife Lori is over on the right hand side of the panorama. You see one of my tripods there. I left it in. It was there, so I left it in. I could have cloned it out, decided not to. And these several mesas here and different rock formations, and then all the way over towards the left side of this panorama, you're getting over to where they have the east and west, what they call the mittens. So pretty happy with this. Again, I took one of the 8 vertical frames. I made my adjustments to that, and then I synchronized it across the others, and then using photo merge I was able to stitch it all together. Lightroom's very good for that. I'm sure there are other applications that do just a fine job. Now, I took a second panorama, and this was 9 vertical shots that I stitched together. So let's just kind of step through this. And so here we are. The first frame, you can see my shadow there. I just left it in. I could take it out, but it was really part of the experience. And so here we're moving along. And what you see in the lower left-hand corner is my Manfrotto backpack. When I was in Bryce Canyon, I was using my Peak Design 10-liter bag, but for this type of hiking, the Manfrotto backpack was better suited in my mind, and it did a great job. That Manfrotto backpack is, I don't know, 6 years old, so it's done me well. And then here's the last frame. Now, as you see here, there's my wife in the green with the white hat, and our Navajo guide, Lee Key, and he's also an excellent photographer himself. He does weddings, events. Of course, he shoots a lot of landscape as well. And if you want to see some really fine work that Lee does, you can follow him on Instagram at LEE dot K as in kilo E dot 56. I'll say it again, LEE dot K as in kilo E dot 56. You should check out his work if you're into landscapes and that. Really some good stuff. So, but stitching those together, this is the result. And I really like this panorama more than the first panorama. Again, I think in part because I've got Lee and my wife Lori over there, give you some idea of the scale. And even my Manfrotto bag in this panorama, I'm fine with it. It's part of the experience. My shadow there on the right hand side. We've got the sun. It was kind of a hazy day. There's some forest fires in the area where the smoke was blowing up this way. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. And again, I think if we look at the left side with the rock formations here, I think these clouds over here kind of balance out visually the panorama. And again, I'm just plain biased because, you know, I went to the effort to collect it. And I'm going to have a lot of thoughts maybe I'll share in later. I've always tried to shy away from doing landscapes. I am an astrophotographer. For the past 4 years I've been doing deep sky astrophotography. I enjoy that. And I always shied away from doing landscapes. But I'm starting to get excited about them, especially with the Nodal Ninja rig that I have for doing panoramas, where there's, you know, large panoramas. I'm starting to get excited about landscape. I've got a lot to learn. I've got a lot to learn about getting up early to invest the time to catch the best light in the morning and those type of things. And so those are all the things that you know, I need to learn. And I also want to thank Lee. He gave me a lot of tips. We talked photography for the most part along the 4 hours of the tour. Learned about Navajo culture and the Navajo experience in the United States and those type of things. It was just a fascinating experience. If you've been to Monument Valley, why don't you drop me a comment, let me know what did you enjoy about it, and if you have some photography from the Monument Valley that you'd like to share, drop it in the comments and I'd be happy to put it in the video description so other people can check it out. And again, I really recommend checking out Lee, LEE dot K as in kilo E dot 56, and look at some of his work. Okay. So now, just briefly, let's bomb out of that. And now I just want to share 2 videos. This one here, what is it? This one? Yeah, this one, I think. Yeah. So this video here was shot with my Fuji X-H2S, and I'm not sure what lens I had on. I think I was using autofocus. It might have been my 18 to 55. But again, I'm terrible at panning, and I got to work on that. These formations are beautiful. And the guide, this was Sean Lee, the older guy that was on the photo tour. He calls Sean the kid. But Sean had a wealth of knowledge and a lot of knowledge about all the movies that were shot in Monument Valley. And again, Monument Valley is really a wash. It's an ancient lake bed. So it was really, really kind of cool. So I just want to share that little piece. I love the flute. And then let's go over to my action camera, the DJI Osmo 5 or Action 5 Pro. And we'll just take a little bit of this. And for this, I'm going to knock the volume down a little bit. So this was kind of like you sit in this open air truck, 4-wheel drive and everything, and it was a 3.5 hour tour, and I'm really impressed with the image quality. Now I am using a 1/4 black mist filter on my Action 5. I forget who I bought it from. It is a diffusion glow mist 1/4 from Freewell. So I'll just give you some idea of the terrain, beautiful terrain. Okay, and then I do want to share something that I did again while I could not image the Milky Way. You know, the clouds giveth and the clouds taketh away. You know, during the daytime they added, in my view, a lot of visual interest into the two panoramas. Without them, again, I think it wouldn't be as interesting visually and as balanced, if you ask me, or at least based upon my personal bias or preferences. But I did set up at night, and again, I wanted to learn how to focus on a star and how to double touch the LCD to zoom in and those type of things. So I really learned a lot, and I also then explored with different exposure compensation settings, trying to darken some of these images. So we'll just kind of go through these real quickly. So again, this is looking west, and the sun is still above the horizon at this point. And then I just stood there for about an hour or so, and just clicking every so many minutes as letting the sun drop, and so you kind of get the general idea. But then there became a point where it started to get darker, and maybe we'll just jump in here arbitrarily, and now we start to see the crescent moon show up, and I have a little bit of a small mesa here, and there's a town off to the past, and I think I was doing, I don't know, 15, eventually I got to like 15-second exposures, and so I'm just kind of waiting, and then down in this area down here, maybe. Here, again, the sun now is below the horizon line. I don't know how many degrees. And then here is where I think I used the exposure compensation dial to where normally the exposure compensation arrow is at 0. I think this, I brought it down to 2 just to see what the effect would be. And then I continued taking shots, and I moved the camera a little bit. You had the self timer on, and now we're starting to see a star come in. The moon is behind some clouds, being the moonlight being diffused. Here we get a few more, and in this shot here, while you may not be able to see it, over here is a Starlink satellite train that was captured in the maybe 15 seconds. With my APS-C sensor and the focal length of the lens, I should be able to do about a 21-minute exposure if I use the 300 rule. If I had a full frame, I could use the 500 rule and divide 500 by the focal length, and that would help me understand what the maximum number of seconds of exposure I could make. So even though I didn't get to capture the Milky Way, I got to set up my tripod in the dark using my red headlamp, leveling it out using the easy leveler. So I got to go through a lot of the motions that I would have to do when I set up to do a Milky Way at 3:30 in the morning. Yes, I could set that stuff up in daylight and leave it sit outside my van, but I'm maybe if nobody else was around, that was fine. But I wanted to go through the exercise of setting it up in the dark and leveling it and all those type of things. So that's about what I have to show. I can't think that I have anything else. I will just say it was an excellent 12 days. Bryce Canyon was beautiful. I've got some Bryce Canyon video and stills. I used my Peak Design everyday 10-liter sling. Worked out great for Bryce Canyon, but when I got out into the rockier terrain, the sloped terrain, the trails were not as flat and everything, I used my Manfrotto backpack, and that worked out really well. So it's good to have options, but I just put a plug in for that Manfrotto backpack. Although being 6 years old, I don't even see that model available for purchase anymore. But great time. Green River was an excellent stop. Moab, learn about all the uranium mining and everything that happened around Moab. So it was a lot of opportunity to learn about these different areas. I had not been to them really before, and I will probably go back. We did not get into Arches National Park, which I would have liked to have done, but I wasn't aware that like on January 2nd you got to be sitting at your computer and have the date in mind to get a time pass to get in. So it was one big learning experience for me this trip. When it came to photography, I'm a lot more familiar with my X-H2S and a lot more knowledgeable now how to set up for night photography. I'll continue to practice taking video and that type of stuff to do smoother handheld panning and all that. But it was just a blast, and Lori and I just had a good time. And it's some almost above 6,000 feet in elevation everywhere we went until we started to drop down into the Reno area, and then further down to where we live here in San Mateo, get back to sea level elevation. So, all right, if you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up. As always, like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you've been to any of these places. Drop a comment if you want to share some of the images from the places that you've been to. I'll be happy to put links to those in the video description, or post your Instagram link. So be happy to do that. And also, if you have some tips on places that I should go to do panoramas out here in the western United States, which is where I'm gonna stay for right now, drop those in the comments as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Other than that, you know, like, share, and subscribe. Always check out the Amazon links in the video description if you want to help support the channel. If you purchase anything using our link just to go to Amazon, you don't even have to purchase what's at the end of the link. For a 24-hour period at no additional cost to you, we'll get some affiliate marketing credit, which means a few dimes, nickels, and dollars for you using our link to go to Amazon. That'd be greatly appreciated. Other than that, thanks a lot. See you next time.